Hello, everybody. Welcome to number 26 of the greatest checkmates of all time. I'm Aaron Dean with Learning Through Games, and I've been going over this list hours every day. Well, actually, I got the list prepared a few days ago when I spent hours and hours. But even when I finish the list, there's still parts of it that I'm switching things around because I've changed my mind so many times. It's just a great list of fantastic checkmates. So this checkmate I'm going to show you, number 26, is between Grandmaster Koltanowski and International Master Arthur Dunkelblum. And this is a famous type of checkmate known as an opera checkmate. And we might see a few of those on the list. But I always remember seeing this checkmate when I was a kid. And this game itself is from the 1920s, but is not the first opera checkmate. So let's go ahead and begin. White plays pawn to e4, and black plays the Caro-Kann defense. White gets the twin towers in the center, and black plays the second move of the Caro-Kann, challenging the center, pawn to d5. Now let's go ahead and pause here, and you guys tell me or write down what your favorite move would be against the Caro-Kann. Okay, if you said pawn e5, that's one option. If you said pawn takes pawn, that's another option. There's even knight to d2 would be one option. I mainly only see adults play that move, but that's a good way to play it. There's kind of an odd option to play if you play pawn to f3. That's called the fantasy variation. And there's what was played, which might be the most common, knight to c3. After knight to c3, pawn takes e4, knight takes e4 back, and now black's turn. Black plays bishop to f5, threatening the knight. Now the most common move here is probably knight to g3, moving the knight back and threatening to kill that bishop, and then, maybe the bishop would move back or something like that. But here, this was quite a long time ago, they played bishop to d3. Now, I used to look at that move and think, well, can't the queen just come and take the pawn? Well, that's exactly what happened here. The queen took the pawn, and I think this is considered kind of bad to do that because white can get very good development, like white does here. Go ahead and pause the video and tell me a good developing move here for white. All right, if you chose knight to f3, you were correct. Developing the knight and threatening the queen. Now, you could have also said a move like pawn to c3, but I'd rather you develop a minor piece. A minor piece is a bishop or knight than a pawn. I think that's a little bit better. So knight to f3, threatening the queen, and black played all the way back. Act to d8, which wasn't a bad move, I don't think. White then plays queen to e2, aiming indirectly at the other king. And after that happens, knight f6 for black. Now this looks like kind of a bad move because it looks like there's a discover attack. Knight can take knight check, and they cannot take back with this pawn because of the queen on the king. What they can do is take back here, and looks like bishop wins the other bishop for free. But you can get it back right away with a fork. Do you guys see the fork? Go ahead and pause the video here if you see it. Do you see the fork that black can do here? All right. If you chose queen a5, you were correct. You're checking the king and threatening that bishop, and the grandmaster blocked, and they get the bishop back. Now this game is almost over. You're about to see one of the greatest checkmates of all time, number 26 on the list, after the queen just takes the bishop back. And white goes ahead and castles, which protects the king and develops the rook, but also importantly aims indirectly right next to the king on d8. That's important. After castle, then black goes ahead and offers a trade. Now, that move is considered not so good to offer the trade. What could a black done instead? Well, he could have just developed the knight right here and maybe queenside castle himself. But if he did that, we wouldn't have this great game to talk about. So we're kind of happy he made a not so good move here. He played queen to e6, Queen goes to e6, offering a trade of queens. White took a look at that queen and thought, well, my queen, I'm a pawn down, and I'd like to get my queen more active. So you don't usually want to trade when you're a pawn down, so white avoids it and aims indirectly here. Now, I will say that this looks like a little dangerous to move your queen here because, of course, black can play queen takes a2 over here. So I don't think this was that obvious at first, because if you don't have this awesome opera checkmate, you probably would not want to move the queen, and you'd probably just want to trade the queen. But he saw the opera, or I'm hoping he did. He played queen to d3. His opponent played queen takes a2, looking for his own checkmate. That's one of my favorite, when other people, your opponent, have checkmate threats too. But white can get the checkmate first. Go ahead and pause it, guys, and let's see if you see this beautiful opera checkmate. It's one of my favorite. Okay, hopefully you saw it. It is pretty awesome. A queen sacrifice, opera checkmate. Queen to d8. King has to take. There's no other choice. And there's the double check now. Look at this. Bishop to a5, double checking. The king has to move somewhere. In the game, he moved over here, I believe. And then, do you guys see the checkmate? Oops, what happened there? Do you guys see the checkmate for white? Checkmate in one. I hope you do. It's rook to d8 checkmate. A fantastic checkmate. Now, even had he moved over to c8, oops, and taken this, the same check, double check, and see if we undo that. So double check, king to c8. Even if he had done that, it's still the same checkmate, rook d8. Fantastic. All right, guys, that's number 26 on the list of the top checkmates of all time. Also, you can, you or your parents can, if your parents want you to like my Learning Through Games on YouTube channel. That doesn't have many viewers yet, so it'd be great if it got some more. We also have Learning Through Games on TikTok, too. All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you.